Welcome to Jamaica. Whether you're returning or visiting for the first time, and for those of you here with us all the time, welcome to you too. Thanks for joining us on today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. It's the official start of the 2014 winter tourist season, so we have a special message from the Minister of Tourism and Entertainment. Also in the next half hour, food. But before we get to these and other features, here's a word of advice followed by the news.
Prevent chikungunya. Get rid of mosquito breeding sites around the home. Empty dish drainers and keep refrigerator troughs dry. Punch holes in the bottom of tin cans before placing them in the garbage. Keep houseplants in damp soil instead of water, and keep flowerpot saucers dry. Keep drains, ditches, roof gutters and eaves clean so water will drain properly. And remember to open your windows during fogging. Also, wear light-colored clothing and cover your body as much as possible to prevent mosquito bites. For more information on chikungunya prevention, call the Ministry of Health toll-free at 1-888-1-LOVE. That's 1-888-663-5683. Mondays to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale and this is your GIS News for Monday, December 15. Well over 1 million air seats have been secured to accommodate tourists expected to visit Jamaica during the winter tourist season, which officially starts today, December 15. In his message to mark the start of the season, Tourism Minister Dr. Wickham McNeil says 1.2 million seats are expected for winter, which represents a 15% increase over the 2013-2014 period. The winter season is also expected to record 611,515 cruise passengers, or a 5.6% increase over last winter. As for the 2014 calendar year, Dr. McNeil says the numbers are strong.
For the period January through October, Jamaica welcomed over 1.7 million stopover visitors. For the month of November, preliminary estimates point to a 6% increase. And if we continue on a similar growth path this month, we can expect another record-breaking year, as we will again surpass 2 million stopover visitors in a year.
With stopover and cruise arrivals combined, he says Jamaica should end the year with approximately 3.5 million visitors overall. In the meantime, 10 automated immigration kiosks have been installed at the Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay to significantly reduce the processing time of airline passengers. They join 5 kiosks that were opened at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston last month. The stations have been installed under a $2 million project that's being funded by the Tourism Enhancement Fund. The project involves partnership with the Ministry of National Security through the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency. Tourism and Entertainment Minister Dr. Wickham McNeil says they are expected to reduce processing time for travelers to less than 1 minute. 6 proud residents of the hills of Boscobel in St. Mary have received the keys to their new homes from the Housing Agency of Jamaica, HAJ. They were presented with the keys at a recent ceremony to celebrate the near completion of 99 two-bedroom detached units at the HAJ development. At the ceremony, Transport Works and Housing Minister Dr. Omar Davies said even more housing solutions would follow to give ordinary workers the opportunity to afford a home. The units sit atop the hills overlooking the Ian Fleming International Airport with partial view of the Caribbean Sea. They are provided at a starting price of $8.5 million. Meanwhile, 8 occupants of the adjoining Boscobel View community also received titles for lands on which they have long resided. Minister of Water, Land, Environment and Climate Change Robert Pickersgill has lauded the Caribbean Meteorological Organization, CMO, for its role in shaping policies to guide decisions on disaster adaptation and mitigation within the region. The CMO is currently involved in the coordination and implementation of a number of climate-related projects for Jamaica and other Caribbean countries.
Without a doubt, the scientific knowledge and expertise that members of the CMO possess place them at the front lines of disaster mitigation, which protects the lives and livelihoods of our fellow citizens.
Minister Pickersgill was speaking at the 54th Ministers' Meeting of the Caribbean Meteorological Council, hosted by Jamaica in Kingston recently. And finally, Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaites has endorsed and lauded a new book by the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC, which details the organization's 40-year history. The book, entitled A History of the Caribbean Examinations Council, 1973 to 2013, was written by historian Professor Patrick Bryan. It details the evolution of the CXC and the contributions of regional leaders who, prior to independence, fought for an examination system that best suits the needs of the Caribbean region.
It defeats the prejudice or the notion that history had to be only about events, certainly more than a century ago, and emphasizes the need, which I hope will be taken up by many other institutions, local and regional, to chronicle their birth and their maturity.
And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thank you for watching.
The Ebola virus is transmitted through direct contact with an infected person's blood or other bodily fluids like saliva, urine, stool, and semen. Symptoms of Ebola include sudden fever, intense weakness, muscle pain, headache, and sore throat. This may be followed by vomiting, diarrhea, and rash, and in some cases both internal and external bleeding, leading to death. Protect yourself. Avoid travel to Ebola-affected countries. Avoid contact with infected persons. Don't touch the body of someone who has died from Ebola. Wash hands frequently with soap and water and use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. To know more, call 1-888-663-5683.
New Anti-Doping in Sport Act tabled in Parliament. Solidarity with Cuba reiterated, and Christmas treat for the kiddies. Just some of the assignments which occupied Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller and her team this past week. Catch these and other stories in this week's Jamaica House Weekly.
Fifth CARICOM Cuba Summit ends on a successful note. Aaliyah Atkinson hailed as the joy of the Caribbean, and Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission closer to becoming independent legal body with tabling of new law. With Jamaica House Weekly, I'm Simone Wolf. Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller spent the first few days of last week in Cuba, where she attended the 5th CARICOM Cuba Summit. On Sunday, at a ceremony to remember Lieutenant General Antonio Maceo and his aide Panchito Gomez Toro, Mrs. Simpson-Miller called for greater dialogue to ensure progress for the peoples of the region.
It's not on the fields of battle. It is not through war or conflict, but rather on the plains of dialogue and respectful, constructive engagement that we must forge new understandings. It is with love, friendship, and cooperation that we will advance the progress of the people of Cuba and the Caribbean.
The Prime Minister also supported calls for the establishment of an affordable transport mechanism to expand trade and investment between Cuba and the Caribbean. Tourism was pointed out as a possible gateway to achieve this outcome. Mrs. Simpson-Miller, meanwhile, also reiterated the island's solidarity with Cuba and called for an end to the U.S.-imposed economic embargo on the Spanish-speaking island. Back on home soil Thursday, the Prime Minister pledged the island's continued support of Aaliyah Atkinson following her recent history-making performance at the FINA World Swimming Championships in Qatar. In her congratulatory statement, Mrs. Simpson-Miller said Aaliyah was the pride of the Caribbean.
You are a shining example of what is good and great about Jamaica. You are a sterling ambassador of brand Jamaica. You remind us all that talent, hard work, and dedication always pay off.
The Minister without portfolio responsible for sport, Natalie Nita Headley, also offered her congratulations to the swimmer.
On behalf of a grateful nation today, we salute Aaliyah Atkinson on her outstanding achievement as a Jamaican swimmer who has been persistent and determined and has achieved.
On Saturday, December 6, Aliyah became the joint world record holder for the 100-meter breaststroke. She also became the first woman of African descent to hold the world record in any swimming event in 40 years. In Parliament Tuesday, the Minister with responsibility for sport, Natalie Nita Headley, tabled the new Anti-Doping in Sport Act. When passed, it will see the Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission, JADCO, becoming an independent legal body.
The Act claims to protect the rights of the athlete, ensured harmonization, a coordinated and effective anti-doping program, make new provisions for the prevention and control of doping in sport, and establish the Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission as an independent body charged with the responsibility by implementing the water code and the international standards in Jamaica.
On the weekend, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller endorsed a teaching strategy symposium put on by the Career Advancement Program in the Ministry of Education. Asserting that education is the foundation for development, Mrs. Simpson Miller called on teachers to gain the necessary skills to help their students learn.
This process provides our teachers with a global perspective on how to successfully teach young adult learners. I encourage all participants to gain all that you can from what I am sure will be some excellent sessions.
Facilitators for the symposium came from Mrs. Simpson Miller's alma mater, the Union Institute and University. A CAP student and teacher from the Haile Selassie High School received the Dr. Michael Tredinick Scholarship worth $3 million. Last Thursday at Jamaica House, Prime Minister Simpson Miller met with organizers of the National Leadership Prayer Breakfast. She also received representatives of the National Road Safety Council. And at Vale Royal Friday, the Prime Minister vetted children who are wards of the state at her annual Children's Treat. And that's how we close today's edition of Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time for the latest stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Welcome to the FSC Minute. I am Nadine Newsom. Today we explore microinsurance and my guest is Rosemary Henry, Senior Director of Insurance with the FSC. Welcome to the FSC Minute, Ms. Henry.
Thank you, Nadine.
Ms. Henry, the FSC is exploring the introduction of microinsurance services in Jamaica. What is microinsurance?
Microinsurance can be defined as an insurance product which is geared towards protecting the low-income earners against risks such as loss of earnings, debt, and illness. This target group is not normally covered by traditional insurance.
So microinsurance is targeted at the low-income sector?
This is the target market, but because of the affordability of the premium and the type of risks that are covered, the middle-income earners will also benefit from it. The idea behind microinsurance is that it will assist with financial inclusion of individuals in our society who are not currently in the formal financial sector. This will happen whether it be through insurance or banking. The target market will include specific groups such as small farmers, micro-entrepreneurs, fishermen, domestic workers, anybody who is not now currently in the formal financial sector, and they'll be able to get coverage for products such as illness, property, term life insurance, and crop insurance.
You mentioned financial inclusion. What is this?
Financial inclusion will allow for the provision of financial services to mainly low-income earners who currently do not access whether banking, insurance, or even financing through the formal sector. Financial inclusion will allow for them to be able to come into the formal sector at an affordable and easy accessible method.
Thank you, Ms. Henry. My guest today was Rosemary Henry, Senior Director of Insurance with the FSC. For the FSC Minute, I am Nadine Newsom.
Want to know more about plans for the 2014 winter tourist season? Watch this.
Our achievements so far this year augur well for a very good winter season. For the period January through October, Jamaica welcomed over 1.7 million stopover visitors, a 3.1% increase over the same period last year. Earnings from stopover arrivals for the same period grew even more and stood at $1.7 billion, reflecting an increase of 5.1% over 2013. For the month of November, preliminary estimates point to a 6% increase. And if we continue on a similar growth path this month, we can expect another record-breaking year, as we will again surpass 2 million stopover visitors in a year. What is even more significant is that when we combine our stopover and cruise arrivals, we expect to end the year with some 3.5 million visitors overall, which marks a significant achievement for a country with a population of only 2.7 million people. We remain confident in the marketing and positioning of Jamaica. My interaction with industry leaders, both at home and abroad, during last month's World Travel Market in London and the China International Travel Mart event in Beijing, makes it clear that interest in Jamaica remains high. Thousands of Jamaicans enjoy the benefits of jobs in the industry, and as tourism continues to do well, more jobs are created. And remember, this does not apply only to the workers employed directly in our hotels, attractions, or in our craft markets, but also the taxi and bus drivers and persons at our air and seaports. In addition to this, the industry has linkages with various other sectors of the economy, such as agriculture, manufacturing, entertainment, and transportation. And there are encouraging signs which point to the significant benefits that can be derived if we strengthen these linkages. We have been moving to do just that through the establishment of the Linkages Hub within the Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment, which has achieved positive results. Our potential for even more robust growth can also be seen in the tangible proof of recent major investments in the sector. This is estimated at some 35 billion Jamaican dollars. The removal of restrictive visa requirements for visitors, introduction of new technology to improve the experience of passengers and boost efficiency at customs and immigration now facilitate ease of travel for our nationals as well as visitors passing through our international airports. I cannot overemphasize the importance of tourism to our economy. When tourism does well, the effect is felt throughout the economy. I encourage you, whether you work directly or indirectly in the industry, to do whatever you can to help support and sustain Jamaica's tourism. Many of us across the island will come into contact with our visitors. I hope you will extend to them the warmth that is so natural to us as a people. Let us make them feel welcome.
The holidays are about connecting with friends and loved ones and making time for fun. But even as you go about enjoying the holiday season, it's important to remember the hidden dangers. Consider these simple tips to keep safe around the home. Cut down overgrown hedges close to your home to improve visibility around your property, and watch out for persons acting suspiciously in your community. When inside, especially at nights, remember to secure windows and doors with deadbolts, and try not to leave keys where they can be seen from outside. If you are leaving your home, make sure to lock all windows and doors, and do not tell too many persons that you are going away for the holiday. Another safety tip to remember involves your house keys. Do not leave spare keys in mailboxes and other places around the home. If you must, leave them with a relative or a neighbor you can trust. It's recommended that you install a security system and safety lights that are triggered by movement, as these help to deter criminals. And if you feel there is an intruder inside your home, make an alarm for help or call the police. Do not attempt to investigate yourself. As you go about enjoying all the holiday has to offer, be vigilant and keep safe. And also, please remember your neighbors. Look out for anything or anyone suspicious and contact the police for assistance.
Even as we partake of the many food offerings this Christmas, it would also serve us well not to overindulge. Here's why.
Hypertension, also known as high blood pressure, is one of the common health disorders in our society. People with these diseases are always advised to eat foods with less sodium and sugar and to reduce their consumption of alcohol. With the Christmas season in full swing, we look at how persons with high blood pressure and diabetes can enjoy the festivities and maintain their health.
Food is an integral part of religious festivals or end-of-year celebrations. Come December each year, diaries are filled with parties, invitations from friends and family, and other activities, all revolving around food and drink. This is also the season when all the promises made 12 months ago may be broken because of celebrations. But you need not change your sensible lifestyle nor jeopardize your health because of the celebrations, especially if you have high blood pressure or diabetes. According to nutritionists, persons with high blood pressure or diabetes can still enjoy the festive season and keep a healthy lifestyle. This can be achieved if they remember the word moderation. The main ingredient in foods that affect blood pressure is sodium, which most people know as salt. Salt is the oldest and one of the cheapest food preservatives known to man. How can we forget saltfish in our ackee and salt beef in our soup? But persons with high blood pressure or diabetes should eat these dishes in moderation. Sodium or salt is also added to preserved meats such as ham, bacon, corned beef, and sausages. Many of the canned foods also contain sodium in the form of salt water solution, which is a very good preservative in the canning industry. However, it could have an adverse effect on the health of persons with high blood pressure or diabetes if not consumed in moderation. Salt is also used in the production of cheese, where its main purpose is to remove water from cheese. Therefore, the harder the cheese, the more salt has been added to it in the production. So if you have high blood pressure or diabetes and want to eat cheese during the festive season, select soft cheese. Again, moderation is also the key. Another main dietary item that affects blood pressure and diabetes is alcohol in all its forms. Whether it's beer, rum, whiskey, wine, or several other strong drinks, experts say the effect of alcohol on blood pressure is almost instantaneous. If you have high blood pressure or diabetes, you can still enjoy yourself and be healthy during the festive season if you follow these tips for dealing with salt, sugar, and alcohol.
In order to facilitate the smooth delivery of its services, the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency has formulated a Citizens Charter. It's our commitment to providing you, our valued customers, with quality service.
In the Charter, we have given the assurance to process compliant applications for passports within 7 days at our head office or 11 to 20 working days at other locations. We also offer expedited service. It is also our promise to process airport passengers within 3 minutes of arrival at the immigration desk. At PICA, compliant applications for citizenship by descent will be processed within 30 days, while other categories will be processed within 24 to 30 months.
Because you see, at PICA, you matter.
The passport, immigration,
And Citizenship Agency.
securing our borders,
safeguarding our sovereignty.
And that's how we close out today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. We're here to serve you, so feel free to email us your queries or comments. You may also join us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If browsing is more your speed, visit our website, jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Pleasant viewing.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.